Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Faulkdogg with GrinderSchool.com, and today I'm bringing you my latest short on the poker regulation in the U.S. This is the update as of February 26th. All right, on the federal regulation side, the payroll tax extension that I discussed in my last video was passed. Poker wasn't included. The reason for that is there's been pretty wide speculation. Some say that the Indian tribes and the state lotteries aren't on board with a federal online poker. I also heard that it could have been some political infighting, that it was rumored that Harry Reid attempted to make the attachment, which is pretty much what we would expect. And he's got some enemies and some people that won't want to go along with things simply because he has them or he introduces them. But in the end, the payroll tax extension, the reason why a lot of people speculated it would be a good format to add poker regulation to, was that they had a gap in money and poker could be used as a way of raising revenue without raising taxes. And it ended up the Republicans backed off of their initial request that everything had to be paid for, which really hurt poker's chances of being added. And also they ended up wanting it to be a clean bill, which also hurt the chances of poker being added to it. So in the end, although it may have looked like it may have looked previously like a pretty good bill to add poker to, in the end it really wasn't as as good a bill as it initially looked. Now the next bill they're talking about is the cybersecurity bill. They think that a lot of people are discussing that it would make sense to add it to the cybersecurity bill, since online poker would obviously be regulating internet. But there's also been a lot of negative press and a lot of people saying that the online poker is going to be hung up for 2013 on a federal level. But a lot of this is coming from groups that are against online poker, state lotteries, things like that. So I don't actually always believe everything I read about that. I still continue the fight. A lot of people think the lame duck is going to be promising for us. A lot of people that will be on their way out of office will not be as shy to vote for what is perceived to be a controversial legislation. Although, I mean, I fail to see why it's controversial. Although anytime gambling's involved, people in certain groups tend to go away from it. On a state level, the news has been very positive. Iowa, they introduced a bill on the 19th, and it's being fast-tracked. It actually passed the Senate committee, and it's going to move on to the House for vote. Now, the thing that's a little bit different about the Iowa bill is that they are using it as sort of an alternative to online lottery sales. So that's kind of a good sign for us that states are actually looking, instead of trying to move the lottery online, to actually move online poker. It also talks about in the bill that you'll be able to play anywhere in Iowa, as well as anywhere online poker has been legalized. Again, this is pretty positive for the players. It kind of means that what we really hope on the state level is if multiple states pass their own laws, that they'll pull the players together to create like an interstate pool. And obviously, the end game for American players would be to where they allow international players also. Mississippi, they also introduced a bill on February 23rd. It's the Mississippi Lawful Internet Gaming Act of 2012. That's still in its initial processes, and there's not a whole lot of information about that to talk about. But it is good that they introduced that, and the ball's rolling. California also introduced Senate Bill 1463 on Friday, which was February 24th. Again, this is another good one. I mean, if there's 3 states that you would think would be on the forefront of internet poker, it would be California and Nevada. Obviously, Nevada's already passed the laws. New Jersey's also looking into them, just because these are like the three states where you think of gambling. Now, some of the bill was introduced, and just to kind of highlight some of the things about it. The bill allows for Powerball-type interstate pooling if the Department of Justice says that it's legal and it's approved by a vote. Again, that's great. I mean, that's what we want on the state level. Is we don't want state by state only allowing players within their state to play within their state. We want it to branch out to other states. So it would make easier states for, like, let's say a state like Rhode Island, which is a smaller state that probably doesn't have the player pool to sustain its own form of online gaming. But if it moved together with Nevada and New Jersey in kind of a pool, then they would definitely be able to get the benefits of revenue as well as having a large enough player pool to make it sustainable and make it good for the players. California, you can deposit with checks or credit cards, no cash or money order. The player funds would be segregated, which after Full Tilt we learned that is a huge thing. Player-to-player transfers are allowed. That's good also. That's going to be one of the fights we'll probably have to have sooner or later. I believe players for poker to thrive, player-to-player transfers are going to be important. It's probably something that most jurisdictions wouldn't like because it just makes it too easy to transfer large sums of money. But if it's under the watchful eye of the government, I would think they'd be able to regulate that. But obviously, a lot of players are backed. A lot of high-stakes players are backed. So a player-to-player transfer would be a really good thing for the players. And also, 21 years or older, I believe that's going to be the standard for most laws. It's also, they said that they think they're going to bring in a minimum of $200 million in the first year of revenue from licensing fees, and that's going to be directly under their budget in the 2012-2013 fiscal year. If this passes, which is really good for us, because this shows states that they can make money, and that's kind of going to be what happens. There's going to be some pioneers if legislation progresses on a state level. The pioneers are going to set it up, and if they can make money, then the states are just going to quickly move to be a part of it to get their hand in the pie. Whereas if they're not good off the start, then states will be less likely to adopt legalized poker. And just so you know, on the California bill, I used that because actually Russ Fox on 2+2 gave a pretty good description of what was in the introduction, but this is just all the initial. I mean, still has to go through the House, the Senate committee, so the final bill, it may look a lot different than it does now. Overall, I think there's still a lot of questions to be answered on a federal level. There's still a lot of what we're relying on, I believe, is rumors and speculation, and I'm kind of learning a little bit more about how like the media works and how government works a little bit more just by following poker even closer. A lot of times, like some obscure paper or blog, well, I guess not blogs, but some smaller papers, have stories and they get picked up by larger media. So you may read something with quotes that are from that look pretty bad to a poker standpoint, but really, if you look at the original source, just who it's coming from and their stance on poker, it may not be as bad. But I won't lie, there was some setbacks on a federal level, and only the future is going to tell us what's going to happen. But the state level is progressing fast, and it looks promising. I mean, within the 2 weeks from my last video, 3 states, actually introduced bills. This isn't states speculating on whether or not they're going to do it. They actually introduced bills. So, I mean, that's very fast for if you think about the United States government and how long it takes us to do anything. Getting bills introduced on a weekly basis is really big. And, again, there's still going to be some questions there. These bills aren't passed yet, but them being introduced is just a forward progress, a step in the right direction. So it's going to be important to do your part. And that kind of takes me to my last thing, and I probably should have mentioned this in my last video. I know I mentioned 2+2, but like the information I'm bringing you, I'm not going out finding a lot of this information myself. I do post articles, and I'm involved in the discussion on 2+2 in the legislation forum. But there's a lot of people on there that work very hard and to put this information together, give their educated opinions. There's a lot of really smart people, and they deserve a lot of credit. So I would urge you, if you want to stay up to date, like daily, to go to the poker legislation forum on the 2+2, and if for nothing else, I urge you to go there just to go to the PPA action plan, and it only takes a couple minutes a day to do it. A lot of it involves social media, tweets, Facebook. They also have some emails to your senators, phone calls that you could make just to try and get our voice out there and let the government know that the people want this, and it's really a win-win for both of us. The people, they get the power and the freedom to do what they love to do, which is playing online poker, and it can be profitable for the governments. It's just a matter of time before we come together and something gets done. But yeah, I do urge you to go there. It only takes a few minutes a day, and there's some interesting reading. And like I said, a lot of what I've presented to you here, this isn't my information; it's information I get from them, and they do deserve the credit. So with that, I hope you enjoyed our latest update. I should be bringing you one here in a few weeks. Thanks.